Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Chris Winter and today I'm going to take a look at one of my new favourite lenses, the Sigma 50mm f1.4. Being another of Sigma's fantastic art range, I'll see if this 50mm can perform to the quality of those other art lenses and of course also the Canon range of 50mm. And I'd just like to say a big thanks to Brisbane Camera Hire for letting me rent out this lens for review. If you guys haven't seen it yet, make sure to check out my top 5 list of the best prime lenses for under $150. I'll put a link in the description box below. But anyway, let's take a look at this new Sigma 50. So to start off with, let's take a look at the build quality of this Sigma 50 1.4. So the first thing you'll notice is that this lens is big, especially compared to other 50mm primes. Now even compared to this beast of a lens, the Canon 50mm f1.2, the Sigma 50mm f1.4 towers over it. But you know what? That's not exactly a bad thing, especially in a pro environment. On the front here, we've got an incredibly smooth focus ring, which is about twice the width of the Canon focus rings, which is great for manual focus. On the back, we've got a nice metallic mount, and we've also got a nice focus distance window here on the front. Now, the only negative I could find in terms of build quality is that there is no weather sealing, but unless you're planning on going out in some pretty bad conditions, I probably wouldn't let it worry you. So overall, the build quality on this Sigma 50 1.4 is one of the best I've seen out of any lens. So with 9 aperture blades and a wide f1.4 aperture, this Sigma 50 can produce some really lovely bokeh. As you can see, it's easy to get a very shallow depth of field with this lens, even on a crop censored body like my Canon 70D. One of the best things is that I was able to shoot at f1.4 and still have some really sharp shots, which is very rare. So overall, the bokeh is very nice with this Sigma. Let's talk quickly about macro. So the Sigma has a minimum focus distance of around about 40 centimeters, which is actually a little bit closer than its competitors, and it's noticeable. You can get a little bit closer for some somewhat macro shots. And sure, it's not a dedicated macro lens, but if you do want to dabble into the world of macro photography, this could be a great start. Another area where the Sigma 50 1.4 impressed me is its autofocus speed. So typically Sigma lenses were known to be a little bit slower in autofocus performance, but that all changed with these new art lenses. And the 50 1.4 is definitely following the trend. Now don't get me wrong, it's definitely not the fastest autofocusing lens I've ever used, but for a 50mm lens, which are typically pretty slow in autofocus, the Sigma is a good performer. So I've used quite a lot of Sigma lenses for video work. I've used the 30mm f1.4, the 18 to 35mm f1.8, and they've all worked really well in video autofocus. And the Sigma 50 1.4 also works pretty well. Now it is a little bit noisy when focusing during video, but it's pretty usable. And compared to the 50 1.4, it's much quieter. It can be a little bit jerky though if it struggles to lock onto subjects. So if you are after a lens that can do video autofocus pretty well and a bit more on the longer side, the 50mm 1.4 could be the choice for you. So in terms of price, the Sigma 50 1.4 sits nicely in the middle between the Canon 50mm 1.4 and its bigger brother, the Canon 50mm 1.2. And I think that's around where it should sit, coming in at about $950. I think it's an excellent deal for anyone looking to get stunning image quality for a very good price. And you could even look to get this lens secondhand. Now they do hold their value very well, so you probably won't get that much off. But if you can pick one up, I definitely recommend it. So let's now take a look at a few image samples taken with this Sigma 50 1.4. So overall, I've been very impressed with the images of this lens. It's quite sharp, even at f1.4, which I said before, and that's pretty rare. Move it down to around about f2.8 and it's very sharp. So I shoot on a Canon 70D, which means this 50mm is equivalent to about 80mm, but I've still enjoyed this focal length. And one good thing is that on the Canon 70D, there's next to no vignetting. Chromatic aberrations are handled very well as well, which is nice to see. And again, the bokeh is just lovely. I really do think you'll be very impressed with the image quality. So overall, I've really loved shooting with this lens. Other than it being a bit heavy, I think it's a winner in my books. So there you go guys, that was my review of the 50mm f1.4. If you did like this video, I'd love it if you leave a thumbs up. Make sure to check out my top 5 list of the best prime lenses for under $150. Leave a link in the description box below. Have a great day. See ya.